Namaste and welcome. It is Rishi here from meditatewithrishi.com, and today we are speaking about how to stop or block negative patterns in relationships. Okay, so what does this mean? This is obviously to do with reoccurring themes that you find in relationships. Now, some examples of these are if you have a spouse that is abusive, they mistreat you, they cheat on you, and this is something that you keep on attracting, this kind of person, right? Or it could be someone in your family that, repeatedly is acting negatively toward you. You find their behavior toxic. It's difficult. They make your life difficult, essentially, right? Or it could be the reappearance of a specific personality in your life. So let's say in childhood you had, a parent that was very abusive, and you continue through life and you keep on finding this type of person reappearing in your life, and you just wonder that why do people always treat me like this? What have I done to deserve this? Why does this always happen to me? Okay, if this is a question that you have, then this video is for you. Okay, so what I'm going to share with you is going to be something, from a spiritual perspective. It's going to be very common sense from a spiritual perspective. So in essence, it's going to be very simple, but perhaps not easy to do. Okay, so in no way am I standing here and saying that this is very easy to do, you should just do this. No, this is something that it will be difficult to do, right? But it is the right thing to do if you wish to break that pattern permanently. Okay, so what am I speaking about here? Now, the first thing is that we need to be on the same page about one thing, right? That whatever the law of karma says, that whatever your current reality is, so the amount of happiness that you are experiencing or the amount of suffering that you are experiencing, whatever that your current reality is a result of nothing else but your previous actions. Karma means action, okay? So your present reality, the happiness or the suffering that you experience is it's basically, it all depends on your previous actions, is a result of your previous actions. And your previous actions are a result of your previous thoughts. So it all started in the mind. Now, this could be in this lifetime or a previous lifetime. That is not what's important here. But ultimately, if you are having some suffering, it's not because some God is trying to punish you, but actually it is just a kind of situation that has arisen as an effect because of a previous cause that was you doing something of a similar quality. Okay, this is simply what it is. So karma is not, the law of karma is not a negative law. It's not there to punish you. In fact, it's there to make you a better human being, because if we realize that we're the ones in control of our destiny, that we just by doing positive actions we can create happiness, then that is very empowering. So the law of karma is actually very empowering. Even when you're going through suffering, it is very empowering, because it means that your current thoughts and your current actions will determine your future reality. Your current thoughts and your current actions will determine your future reality. So that means that if we have a reoccurring pattern that is negative, then what we want to do is to act positively now. Okay? Now, to illustrate this, I'm going to first of all give you a very simple example. Picture in your mind's eye that there are two people playing a game where they are slapping each other. Okay? So one person slaps the other person, and then to retaliate, the other person slaps him back. So one person slaps, gets slapped back, then he slaps again, then he gets slapped back again. It's a constant to and fro, like a tennis match, right? Like a tennis match. So I want to present the idea to you of when you have a negative pattern re-emerging in your life, I want to present the idea to you of whether the lens that you can look at it, the lens through which you can look at it is, do I want to play the game or do I not want to play the game? Okay. So in the example of these two people slapping each other, they have taken the option to play the game, which means that if I get slapped, I'm going to slap back, and then they'll slap me back, and then I'm going to slap back, right? This is playing the game, okay? This playing the game is coming from the level of ego. It's coming from the level of ego because when somebody slaps you, actually they've just slapped your body, and because you as the ego identify with the body, you identify with the mind, you think that they have slapped me, right? And then the ego, you know, it revolts and it says, how can this person slap me? I'm going to show them, I'm going to slap them back, and you slap them back, okay? So you play the game. So when you play the game, ultimately you are creating, by doing more actions, you are creating more future effects, okay? So that means that if you slap the person back, they are going to slap you back, then you're going to slap them back and they're going to slap you back. This is a never-ending cycle. This is why we have reoccurring patterns in our life, because we always choose to play the game because we're so identified with the mind and body. We operate from the ego, and when that happens, the negative patterns will always re-emerge. Okay? So what is the solution? What am I suggesting here, right? So what I'm suggesting here is to take the other option of not playing the game, okay? And this comes from the level of spirit, okay? Now there's a way in which to do this. So not playing the game means that if we take that example of two people slapping each other, there is a way to stop the game. The only way to stop the game is if one person, after being slapped, decides to step back and say that, no, I no longer wish to play this game, okay? I no longer wish to play this game, so I'm not going to slap you back. Now, because they haven't slapped that other person back, there is no effect, no cause, no effect. So that person is not going to slap them again. The game ends there because that person has chosen. Because that person has chosen to not play the game, okay? Now, obviously that example is very simple, but the way to do this in real life is not just at the level of physical action, but at the level of thought as well, okay? So take a scenario where somebody comes to you and, you know, this negative person, they come and they are very rude to you, or they shout at you, or they just treat you unfairly, okay? Now, if you were playing the game, what you would normally say is, how dare you speak to me like that, right? I'm going to show you, and you lash out back at them, right? Or if someone cheats on you, you essentially will say, you'll play the game. So you'll say whatever you need to, but you'll still go back to them. Right? Whatever the situation, you may need to think about this a bit, but whatever the situation, ultimately you are, you're playing the game. And because you're playing the game, there's going to be like a repercussion of that, okay? So now let's say you choose not to play the game, okay? You say, I'm not going to play this game. So this person comes and shouts at me. I've decided not to play the game, okay? So I'm not going to shout back, or I'm not going to be angry back, okay? But on a mental level, you're still thinking, oh God, this person, I hate this person, I hate this person, I hate this person, right? This is what suppression is. So and suppression is actually, it's a person who suppresses their emotions technically is stronger than the one who lashes out, because they have the mindfulness to say that, okay, whatever this person's doing, I'm not going to lash out back at them. I'm going to control myself. Okay. But this as well, the thought is still there that I hate this person. I hate how they're treating me. The thought is still there. And remember, karma starts at the thought level. It doesn't, right? It starts at the thought level. So just because you haven't done anything, the fact that you're still thinking in that way means that the karma is still there. The karma is still there. And these situations will keep reappearing in your life. They will keep reappearing. So the way to dissolve the karma, the way to actually not play the game, is to not play it, not just at a physical level, but even at a mental level. So the negative thoughts that we think about these people should not be there. We should be thinking positive thoughts about these people, okay? It's coming from a space of realizing that when you come from the level of soul and not of the level of ego, you can see that the only reason this person is acting in this way is because they are suffering. Only hurt people hurt people. Someone can only hurt you if they are hurting inside. Can you imagine yourself, like if you're in a very happy mood, you know, life is amazing, you're just so happy. Can you imagine yourself like getting angry at someone or swearing at them or treating them unfairly? No, you're very generous, you're very kind when you're happy, right? The only time you can hurt someone is when you are hurting inside, when you have some kind of fear, whatever it may be. So not playing the game is coming from the level of soul and seeing that person for what they are, that person is also, you know, energy, pure consciousness, divine. The only reason they're acting like this is because of what is going on within them. So it's okay. I'm not going to create any more bad karma by thinking bad about them, by speaking bad about them, by speaking bad to them. I'm going to, in fact, create good karma by thinking good about them. Now, this is what I meant when I said that this is simple but not easy. How difficult is it to think good about somebody that's hurting you? It's so difficult, right? It's so difficult. And this is why the practices like the loving kindness meditation are so key. This is why it is a key practice in both the yogic and Buddhist traditions, because it helps to dissolve karma by transforming your thoughts into thoughts of love, right? So remember, if someone does something bad to you and you hold it in, that means that you're suppressing it. Suppressing that energy is actually bad for you. But you can transform that energy through a practice like loving kindness meditation. And actually take a step back and realize that this person, the only reason they're acting like that is because they're suffering. They're probably suffering more than me. So I should not be angry at them. I should in fact send them, you know, compassion and loving thoughts, essentially. And when you do this, ultimately, this is what you take away from the video, is that when you decide that I will not let anyone's negativity affect my own peace, my own, you know, the love in my heart, when you make this decision, this is when those negative situations will stop appearing in your life. Because once you've decided that, you know, I'm not going to let anybody affect me. In fact, I'm just going to be the bigger person, see them as the soul that they are, and treat them with love, or send them thoughts of love, send them thoughts of compassion. Then you've learned your lesson. You've learned your lesson not to play the game. And this is why karma is there. It's to teach you your lesson that you need to learn. So the moment that you learn your lesson, that's it. Those situations will no longer appear in your life because you don't need to learn the lesson. You have already learned the lesson. Do you understand? I know it was a bit of a long-winded way of explaining this, but it is difficult to understand because it's difficult to do. You know, we can't comprehend that we should be nice to somebody when they are not nice to us. It's easy to say it from a distance, like how I'm saying it in this video, but when it happens in real life, it's tough. It's tough, and this is why the practice is so important. You know, if you're watching this video, you are somebody that is interested in practice or does practice, consider yourself fortunate. Your karma has brought you to that as well, that you have the ability and the opportunity to learn about something like this and actually practice and create loving thoughts and dissolve your previous karma. We are very fortunate. And when we don't operate from the ego, when we operate from the level of soul, of spirit, and see each other as what we really are, then, you know, doing a practice like this, you can see the sense in it, right? Because ultimately, that's why we're here on this planet. We're here to balance out our karmic equation and be free, be liberated. That's why we're here, right? So there's no need to play the victim, because like this is not, we're not here like to be punished. There's no need to play the victim. It's taking a step back and just realizing that, wait, what's actually happening here? What is this trying to teach me? And how should I behave in this situation? Okay. Now, one last thing, that when things are toxic, and I'm saying that we should be loving toward this person, we should be, have kind thoughts toward this person, we need to be practical as well. Okay, so if you are in a situation where that toxic behavior is coming from someone that has the potential to harm you, that it is dangerous for you, this is not me saying that you need to stick around in that situation. No, by all means, take yourself out of that situation, by all means. But it's just that when you're out of the situation, what's in your mind still is, from a distance, you can generate that positivity. You can create that positivity and just make a resolution that even when I meet this person, I will meet them with nothing but love and kindness, right? So this is the practice, right? It's really, really hard. It's easy to sit and meditate, right? But the situations that happen in life, like that's the real practice, and that's where we really need to apply the positivity we create in the meditation, and make sure we're giving ourselves the space to strengthen our will, to strengthen our heart, essentially, to be able to really make use of these lessons when they appear and dissolve the previous karma. Okay, so bit of a long video, but I really hope that this was helpful. Thank you very much for listening. Namaste.